Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again, and I'm here because God loves you, and I have been chosen to share that information with you. And it's for a lot of people who here in America have no idea what love from God or love to God actually means. Yet I do. I guess that's why I accepted the responsibility of sharing it with you. It's a beautiful day because it's a day that God has given. But how we have operated in this day leaves a lot to be hoped for. Yesterday, Israel and the United States brought their hands together, shook hands in agreement that they were going to brutalize Iran. United States has its reasons, and Israel got theirs. Now, what Israel's true reasons are, I don't know. I know it has to do something with possessing resources that Iran has, sharing them with the United States, and the United States is claiming that it is to share in those resources that they can take, or hope that they can take, or hope that they can control. And so, little old Iran, compared to what Donald Trump said, the most powerful military on the face of the earth, has got to do what it can to defend itself against such a great power. Well, for those of us who agree that Israel is kind of small in comparison, feel sorry that this big monster, this demonic force, have chosen to come on Iran. And at the same time, the most of the people of America perhaps don't care because they have a president that is as crooked as can be. And I say crooked because of the things that he's done, the kind of things that represent evil, nothing good. And though they represent evil to many of us, to him it represents good because what it does is satisfy his aim. He's not concerned about the true people, except how he can manipulate and abuse them to get what he wants, but he's truly concerned about himself. And so that brings a lot of question. And yet we say that the people of America chose him, so God is not angry. America gets what America deserves. Sorry that there weren't enough people in America to say hell no. So we got. Now, when we think about what Trump is saying, another thing that indicates he has nothing to do with God, he has no knowledge of God whatsoever. I don't care if he did read a couple of pages. And sometimes when he responds to them, he sounds like the chat group AI, talking about how powerful the U.S. military is. If the United States went against China, and even if they lost, it would not be so bad. If they went against Russia, and they think that they can beat Russia, but if Russia kicked their butt, it still would look a little bad, but not so bad. But to go against Iran, that's like David, and according to Trump, Goliath. Apparently, Trump isn't familiar with the story of David and Goliath. Otherwise, he wouldn't be running around here claiming to be Goliath, because he sets himself up. He sets himself up for God to utilize this opportunity to show the world who runs this thing, to show the world who still has the power, to show the world why no one, regardless of how big your military is, how many people you got willing to die for you, God is still God. I mean, you put yourself in an awkward position because if this Iran and God come together and beat the snot out of America, it would be sad, but it would be so funny. For the people who survived, it would be funny that Trump got snubbed. It would really be funny because people really don't like Donald Trump. The people who are not of this evilness, they don't like Donald Trump. Problem is they're not good themselves. They just don't like Donald Trump. They're not that bad. And when I say they're not good themselves, is that, hey, the problems of America have been in existence since its beginning. And it's not just by people like Donald Trump. It's not just like the Republicans. It's not just like MAGA. America has been corrupt all of the while by the power of all the people, except those who fought and died to make changes. And there were those who even fought and finally gave up because they thought it was the best thing to do. And they aren't familiar with the fact that that giving up was also an indication that they were with evil. Sad thing about it is that everybody's going to die. And when you don't die for righteousness' sake, you just die because you got old and it's time to do that. That doesn't look too good. Another thing that is very important that I'd like to give to the American people is this, is that you have chosen an instrument that promotes your livelihood called money. And is the biggest tool that Satan has in its arsenal. Something that everybody, not just in America, but usually on earth, maybe some religious element lives out in the brush, not trying to do this. But for the most part, where you got so-called civilized people, they are trying to do whatever they can to get the money. That means from stealing, that means from conning, all the way down to perhaps working 2 or 3 jobs if you can get them, just to get that money. And the money serves a wonderful purpose. It allows you to survive. It allows you to buy food, to buy clothing, to buy shelter. Maybe if you got enough, you can buy some education. And if you got enough, you can still maybe pay for health care. And you might be able to buy you some transportation. You might be able to do a lot of things depending on how much money you got. But think about this. If you don't have money, then they set up a system called welfare that they could help you out. And in that welfare, sometimes it helps you get housing. In that welfare, sometimes it helps you to get some transportation. If not your own, it gave you access to utilize public. And if not that, it might do other things for you, what you might consider as being essential. And then if you can't get that because you don't qualify, then you just have to sleep on the streets. Didn't matter about the weather. Oh, but then sometimes they put shelters up, but you might not get a chance to live in the shelter if it's crowded. And today, crowdedness is something, and not just in America, but anywhere in the world. Those people over there in other parts of the world are running, trying to find a little love somewhere. Is there anyone that cares about people? People like us who have nothing. And there have been some places where people have tried to say, well, we do care. Come on over here. Come on over here. We're going to help you. But then in time, evil gets over there and wipe that out and then send them back to any place. Don't even care where they go. Just get the hell out of here. Isn't that something? That's the kind of world we live in. And what blows my mind, ladies and gentlemen, is that God loves you still. And in that love, God has been able to send people before you and tell you that you do not have to become bound to money. What happens if this war that's going on today, if the shipping lanes and the roads are caught up within this military fight and you can't transport what you've been transporting on the waterways, not through the Strait of Hormuz or any roads that have been used to do such? What happens if those accessible situations are now no longer accessible, and you cannot get what you have been getting, and your shelves where food used to be are empty? The gasoline that you used to get to put in your cars the tanks are empty. What happens when you cannot have that which we call survival stuff available to you? Then how important is money? Well, if you could find something, I'm sure somebody would sell it to you. But what good is that? Money just, I remember someplace they said, I don't know where it was, there was a war going on, and money played a part in as it does here today. And when the war was over, that you could buy a loaf of bread, you just took buckets of money trying to buy a loaf of bread because money had been devalued to such a low value. Yet, the truth still exists that every human being on earth have been prepared for, that you, all of us, may experience heaven on earth. In order for us to experience heaven on earth, we have to want it. We have to do what is required to get it. Now, what would that basically entail? Well, it would entail every last one of us experiencing it. And in order for that to happen, we have to be entitled to it, not just being here, but being here, you must do something. You must engage yourself in the process. I'm constantly telling you this, constantly reminding you. You must engage yourself in the process of causing the production in such an amount that it would be enough for everyone. And that would include the food, the clothing, the shelter, the education, the transportation, the health care, and all of those other needs. But in order for that to happen, my friends, you again would have to engage yourself by finding a career or a job, whatever you want to call it, that you could engage yourself in because you love. I mean, actually love. Something that would take away the stress of going to a job you don't like, take away the stress for being at a place that really is not sufficient enough to meet your needs. So you love it and you have the opportunity and you're given the freedom to choose, and you do. And you're blessed because there comes something for you, to you, that the world can't give. Nope, the world can't do it for you. And the world can't take it away. No, the world can't do that. So it comes from the maker of this great big earth that has been designed so you and I could be on this earth. Hey, just think about it. If that hadn't happened, we'd probably be floating. And that probably wouldn't even work. But not only that, we have a body that we can put the spirit, allow the spirit to exist in, so that we can see and we can feel and we can walk and we can talk and we can hear and we can eat and have some fun. And we also have been given resources that we did not have to buy. See, today you go get your car, you go to a gas pump, you got to buy that gas. But the gas that exists in all of its abundance, wherever it is on the earth, is free. Now, the reason that you have to pay for it is because of the con game, because of those who are not familiar with God's plan or don't care with God's plan, and they have their own plan. And their plan says, we want to profit from this. We want to take advantage of you for those things that you need, that God has provided for, and you're too ignorant to know it. We know it, but we're going to take advantage of your ignorance and tell you that you got to pay for it. Not only that, we're going to tell you that you need money that you don't have, so you're going to have to work, not necessarily in the career that you care about, but wherever we need you to work at. And you will submit to that because you've got to have the money. And now you're becoming a slave. You're selling your labor for cheap stuff. Will not take care of what you basically need unless you're doing something else that helps the power brokers to get more money, like playing sports. Playing sports, they can put, you love it so much, you will pay whatever you can to get it into a game. And so those that's playing the game that's helping do that get millions of dollars while you still picking cotton and chopping cotton. Isn't that something? The way the world works. And that's not sufficient enough. They have to hate people become racist and bigots. Well, this is to promote what they're doing to you. This is why, for all of our lives, especially mine, and I'm sure my grandparents and great grandparents, we were given information about God that we did not even know was being abused, was being tricked, that we were going through things that not necessarily what God wanted or was saying to us, but how it had been manipulated to work for those who cared nothing about us. Isn't that something? And this is why all of this time on earth, we are still going through this trouble. Man still killing men like wild beasts. So when you trust in a power that says that you don't have to do all of these things, it would allow you to live in peace and be prosperous and free, joyous and happy, fulfilled and satisfied. And rather than dream of a life, you live the life. This is what we call thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And they say in order for that to happen, seek ye first the kingdom of God, which basically means recognizing the power that is bigger than your power as an individual, bigger than your power as a nation, bigger than your power as a people of the earth. Seek it from God. And that would allow you to understand the basic principles necessary and essential for the exercise of your gifts and talents here on earth that will protect you by doing for others and caring for others as you would want others to do for you, to care for you, as you got this wonderful joy and this great love that you have, and allowing you to make sure that the reservoir of goods and services has such an abundance that not one human being on earth would have to suffer for anything. Now, for me, that's a simple matter. I don't know. I guess just being the chosen one, the one that says, Father, use me, I'll do it. I'll say what you give me to say. And I've said it. Now, how many of you have heard me and have agreed with me? Some have disagreed. Some of you have never heard me and don't want to hear me because it has something to do with you. You think you want your yacht that costs so much money that allows you to go floating around on the water and committing adultery and fornication, doping, and doing whatever you think is fantastic to do. And you got other people out there that's in your circle who can't allow you to be having that much fun because they got to have it too. And so that means that the people got to rip off the other people. You know, you got billionaires, multi-billionaires, millionaires, multi-millionaires, and you got people you call the richest people on earth, and they walk around with a big smile on their face, say, we are somebody, or I am somebody. Wouldn't you like to be just like me? And you say, hell yes. And that meant hell yes, because you have to run through hell to get it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as Frank Sinatra says, that's life, but it doesn't have to be. And the challenge has been, let us change. And we do have to change. Some people say call it born again, because all of the stuff that we understand that we've had fed to us in our lifetime has been the opposite way, not God's way. Struggle, dog eat dog if you must, but you got to hustle from sun up to sundown. You gotta do whatever you gotta do because it can't come in any other way. And that's what we've been taught. And those who have been telling you about God, they didn't keep telling you about God. They stopped and started telling you that pay God. Go ahead and get some of that money and come give God some of it. Give God a lot of it and God will give you a lot back. Isn't that so? Selling the resources that God has provided for you while they take those resources and buy yachts, buy jets, buy farms, mansions, and live the same lifestyle that the other devils live. But they go to church and you fill the churches up. They got something, they must know something. And you're going to see if you can get something out of what they know. And the poor little old man who's telling you the absolute truth, you don't want to go and listen to that one for anything. He cannot help you. How can he help you when he can't even help himself? Doesn't mean he can't help himself. Just means that he made a choice. His choice that if he's going to live that high life, if he's going to live that fantastic, wonderful life that everybody wants to live, then you must be able to do it as well. And until you can understand what is required for you to do so that all of you can live, then he'll just live down the hill with the lowly nobodies because he will not engage in a life against you. And one other thing I'd like to say before I leave here. Those of you now, the president, these people who are running these wars are saying that the boots on the ground. That means you. That means your sons. That means your daughters. That means your fathers and your mothers out there on the ground with guns, killing people and being killed so that people can live the life of the devil. And renewing of the mind hasn't come. No, my friend. What is it going to take for human beings to grow up? What is it going to take for human beings to really start acting like something different than wild animals? What is it going to take? Well, they say there was a flood and the flood didn't stop it. They're talking about it might be use of fire. And if the flood didn't stop it, what makes you think fire will? Well, it seems like it's just going to have to be a choice. It won't be any making. No one will make you do anything. That's why you got choice. So you can make yourself if you want. And if you don't make yourself, it just won't happen. But for those who recognize that as individuals, you still got control over your own life, that you don't have to live 50. What, my birthday today, 76 years. When I think about 76 years old, living in a society like this, the only thing that makes me feel good about it is because I'm sitting here today telling you what I've been telling you for the past 40 years. And I think about men like Martin Luther King, 39 years old, dead, for telling you the same thing. Malcolm X, 39 years old, dead, for telling you the same thing. Gandhi, I understand he's a little bit older. But even Jesus, I understand that he was 33 years old, dead, for trying to tell you the truth. And all of this death, my friend, serves one purpose, to let you know that the God that is responsible for all creation is worth giving it all up before you go against that God. And if you stand up for that God, I'm sure that God got something for you. Real life. Real life. And if you can't see it, that's okay. It takes faith to believe something that you can't see, but know that it exists and that you can benefit from it and are going to benefit from it. I realized last night I talked to you for 30 minutes. I didn't think that it was that long because I know most people don't want to listen to anything. And if they do, it's got to be short. 2 minutes, not more than 4, or the door is closed. But there'll come a time you'll wish, and I hope it comes a time, that the truth, regardless of how long it is, you get a chance to hear it because it might help you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't have to get angry tonight, this morning. I didn't have to fuss this morning. But I spoke truth to you because it is what was given to me. And I pray that it does you some good because I'm going to tell you from 76, I have, how you can, a black man, we got high blood pressure. We got it. And we get all kind of medicine thrown at us. And yet hearing now that that medicine does not work for us. It just treats us, and they don't even try to find cures because it would mess up the money that comes into them. And you can turn on your television, they'll talk about big pharma ripping you off. But there are some other things you can do. They tell you about natural foods that gives you that which is required, that you don't have to get the synthetic stuff. But sometimes you can't even trust that. So I just say this, learn young and do. You might be able to live a long time and you might not, but at least be real. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.